The honourable member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So first of all, I just want to thank the member from Timmins James Bay and the seconder of this motion, the member from Abitibi Bay James Nunavut EU, for putting this very important discussion on the floor for us today. I think that one of the most compelling realities across this country is how many Indigenous communities address the issue of residential school within their community. In the area that I live, there's a community, Homolko First Nations, that traditionally comes from the Campbell River territory all the way up into the Butte Inlet. And a long time ago, they had a community in Butte Inlet that they called Church House. Now, Homolko was losing their children. Their children were being taken away for residential school. And what the community did was they came together and they raised money. Them own selves, they raised the money and they built in their community a church and a school. And because they built a church and a school, they were able to have their children at home until grade 6. So the priests and the nuns came right into their community. They lived amongst their community, and there's some good memories of that. And Mr. Speaker, sadly, there's some very unfortunate and sad memories of that time. But I think that one of the realities that we forget is that Indigenous communities were incredibly strong in how they dealt with these. So, you know, one of the members before talked about some people coming home broken, and that's true. I could name people from my community and from the communities that I represent that came home broken because of residential school. But I just want to remind everybody here that they also found ways to survive and to thrive. And that the reality that Indigenous people are still so strong is because of the strength that they had. And I want to recognize this. And I think that when we stand here today in this House and we ask and invite the Pope to come forward and do the right thing, which is apologize. Apologize to all of the children, to all of the families, to all of the communities that were immensely impacted by this decision, for them to work with this government to do this job. And it was a very direct job. The job was to take the Indian out of the child. You know, in one of the schools in the riding that I represent, a high school called Southgate, or a middle school, there is in that school a mask, and that's what it is called, the Indian, taking the Indian from the child. And it's got a mask on the outside. It's a transformation mask. If anybody doesn't understand what that means, I'm happy to share with you, but it's a way of showing a story. And that is what it has, the white face that opens up to reveal the Indian child inside. So, Mr. Speaker, I know my time is up, but I just want to recognize the resilience of the Indigenous communities of this country.